Welcome back to the channel. This is S.O.G, and in today's video, we're going to be comparing the Glock 45 Gen 6 to the Walther PDP Pro E. Now, the PDP Pro E model comes in at about $800, but if you wanted to vouch for just the standard PDP, that does start off at $600, but you don't get the magwell, the upgraded trigger, or the 18-round magazines. But in this case, it's $800. You get a hard case, a locking cable, some tools, a couple backstrap options, a mag speed loader, 3 total 18-round mags, and then the gun itself. And the Glock 45 Gen 6 comes in at $620, and you get a hard case, a locking cable, a couple backstrap options, crush washers for your optic mounting system, a total of 3 17-round magazines, and the gun. Diving into the dimensions now, we're going to take a look at the overall length, which is this portion of the handgun here. The PDP has an overall length of 6 inches compared to the Glock 45 Gen 6, which has an overall length of 7.44 inches. Next, we're taking a look at the overall height, which is how tall these stand, and the PDP is 5.4 inches tall compared to the Glock 45, which is 5.47 inches tall. In terms of width, as you guys can see, they're pretty similar. The PDP has an overall width of 1.4 inches, and the Glock 45 has an overall width of 1.35 inches. The PDP comes in at 24 ounces in its weight, and the Glock 45 comes in at 23.1 ounces. The PDP has a 4-inch barrel, and the Glock has a 4.02-inch barrel. Next, we're going to go ahead and compare features, but I just want to show you guys we are clear and working in a safe environment. Starting with the Walther PDP Pro E, you have front and rear slide serrations. Now, these serrations are extremely deep and aggressive, very easy to rack the slide no matter where you're holding the gun from. And then you have some plastic sights. They are a 3-dot system, but again, not night sights and not metal sights. Then you have an optic cut here for optics, but you do need adapter plates no matter what optic you're running on this. However, Walther does a good job of sending you out a free one anytime you purchase a PDP from them. Just reach out and they'll get you one out, whatever one you need. This also does have a loaded chamber indicator just right here. This little tab pops out once you have one in the chamber. There is no striker indicator on this, nor is there any manual safeties. Moving on over to the Glock 45, you also have front and rear slide serrations. Now you have more serrations, but they're not as deep or aggressive. Either way, it's still really easy to rack the slide on this one too. Now the slide on this one is slightly smoother than the one on the PDP, but both function perfectly fine. Now this one here also has plastic sights, so not night sights, not metal sights. And then you have your optic plate right here. It's optic cut for whatever optic it is that you want to put on there. Glock does give you, like I said, those crush washers. Now technically you can direct mount RMR red dots on here, but you still don't get a co-witness, and you get a little bit of, well, not a little bit, you get a pretty big gap right in between the slide and the red dot. So I personally wouldn't recommend it, but totally up to you. This one does not have any external manual safeties either. It does not have a striker indicator, and the extractor actually serves as a loaded chamber indicator. So once you have one in the chamber, this tab will pop out, kind of like on the Walther PDP. Next, we're going to take a look at the features on the frame here, and taking a look underneath the PDP, you'll find yourself with a 3-slot Picatinny rail that lets you mount whatever weapon-mounted light you want to put on there. You don't have a gas pedal or stippling on your thumb rest location, but the manual controls on this are they're extended and really easy to manipulate. So you have your slide lock here on both sides as a left-handed shooter and a right-handed shooter. The mag release is on for right-handed, but you can flip it over to left-handed if you needed. And then your takedown levers is here, and again, completely ambidextrous. So a nice gun if you are a left-handed shooter. Now continuing on with the frame, you get a slight beaver tail here, and then you have a couple backstrap options that you can switch that out to if you needed. The mag release right here is also stippled or has texture to it, and it's really easy to access. One of the things that it took me a while to get used to though was that it's got a little ledge right here. So if you push towards the bottom, nothing happens. You kind of got to get it at that right angle. But that little ledge is there so that it prevents it from accidentally being released, which is kind of a nice touch, just something to get used to. The stippling on this gun is absolutely insane. I really love how they did the stippling on this. You can see here the palm swells that you have, and it just feels extremely nice in the hand. Moving on over to the bottom of the frame here, you have a magwell or a flared magwell, and you can remove it or leave it on there depending on how you want to carry or how you feel fits best for you. You also have some stippling in front of the trigger guard, nothing underneath, but you have a decent size undercut on that trigger as well. And then obviously we can't forget the trigger. That trigger is just amazing. Let's take a look and see. So almost no take up, just a really nice crisp break. and a really good reset. And we're going to take a look and compare these two triggers here shortly. But let's continue on with the features of this frame. Just really nice. The way that they extended this magazine in here is perfect because it just shoots the mag just right out. I mean, it's just so nice and easy to install and remove the mags with this magwell here. I love that they didn't go flush with the magwell because that's just hard. If you have a stuck magazine, you got to really pinch it out of there. The way that they extended it just enough to get your fingers in there and grip it and pull it out is perfect. Comparing that to the 45 Gen 6, you have a one slot Picatinny rail mount. Now you can still put the same lights from the PDP on this, you just don't have the same adjustability. Continuing down the frame, you have a stippled thumb rest or gas pedal right here for if you're a right-handed shooter. But if you're a left-handed shooter, you can also take advantage of that feature because they have it on both sides, which is really nice. And then your manual controls on this one are really nice. They're extended from previous generations. So your takedown levers and your slide locks are going to work just fine. And they are on both sides, so they are ambidextrous. Your mag release is only as a right-hand shooter, but you can flip it over. So another good option if you're a left-handed shooter. Now the mag release does have some texturing right there, and it's really easy to install and release that magazine. Continuing on down with the frame, you have an exaggerated beaver tail right here, but it does a really nice job of keeping a high grip on the handgun, and it prevents you from getting any slide bites. So it's a nice job of doing that, but if you're carrying this, it might suck. Just something to keep in mind. Moving on down towards the trigger area here, you have some stippling or some texturing in front of the trigger guard, nothing underneath, but you do have a really high undercut here, which is nice. Again, it serves a good purpose of getting a high grip on that gun. Let's take a look at the trigger. Keep in mind it's a Glock trigger, so you get plenty of resistance here, followed by some creep, more creep, and then the brake. And the reset here, pretty good reset, very normal. It is a flat face trigger now, so compared to the previous generations, they did change that. And again, that looks really, really nice to me, but it feels exactly the same. If you shoot them with your eyes closed, it feels the same. Continuing with the stippling, which is I think where they knocked this thing out of the ballpark. They did a great job with the stippling, having it all over the frame. I feel like they kind of took from the PDP style, but it turned out really, really nice. They even have palm swells in here. You don't see them as easily as you do on the PDP, but it still looks and functions really, really nice. And then one other thing on this frame is that you do have an integrated flared magwell, slight flared magwell right here. So again, it makes it just that much easier to reload your magazines. All right, trigger snobs, now we're gonna get into the trigger pulls and see what they're pulling at. Now for the good, the bad, and the ugly between these two. I've got about the same amount of rounds through both of them, and my experience has been great. I've had one failure to feed with the PDP, and I've had 0 issues with the 45. Now, with that being said, I do prefer to shoot the PDP. I just think it's more of a shooter's type of gun. The trigger in this is just absolutely insane. It's probably the best striker-fired trigger out there, aside from, like Canic, just because they kind of mimic their style, but just an amazing shooting gun. It's a tack driver. It's extremely accurate. I'm more accurate with the Walther than I am with the Glock. But again, I love Glock. For some reason, it's just harder for me to be accurate with Glock than any other brand out there. Needless to say, it's an extremely reliable and good shooting gun. It shoots softer than the Walther, so they each have their pros and their cons. I don't carry either of these. These are more for duty or self-defense, home defense type of guns, and they both will serve that purpose perfectly fine. They both have a good amount of capacity with these OEM mags. With the Walther, you can downgrade to, I believe you can run 15 round mags in this one. This is the 4-inch one. Obviously, it's a compact size with the extended magazines because it's the Pro E model. And then the Glock, obviously, you can run any magazine that is intended for Glock, 17 and on up. So awesome guns, both of them. I recommend them both. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of these. Smash the like button and then drop a comment as to which of these two you would pick and why. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But if you already have, I appreciate you guys so much. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.